Everybody get up. It's time to slam a new legacy now. We got the real Jam a New Legacy now going down. Welcome to the Space Jam a New Legacy. It's your chance. Do your dance at the Space Jam a New Legacy. All right. What's up, it's Andre, and I wanted to talk to you today about Space Jam a New Legacy. It's supposed to be coming out in July on both theaters and HBO Max, but Entertainment Weekly put out a whole bunch of articles about Space Jam a New Legacy, complete with photos, get some more details, and see if this gets us hype enough for this movie to eventually come out. So we got Entertainment Weekly cover right here. LeBron James on the front. He's the star of the new movie with, of course, the Looney Tunes characters. We got Bugs, we got Lola, we got Daffy, we got Tweety, we got Taz. Now, the one thing I'm going to be confused about, and you'll see as we go through some of these photos, sometimes they're showing LeBron with the Looney Tunes and they look 2D animated or even 2D mixed with CG animation, kind of like how the Tom and Jerry movie was, where it was 3D, but it looked like traditional 2D animation. But then there's other times where they show the characters where they look full on CG. So I don't know what the final look is going to be for the actual movie. Blue basketball though, what's up with that? The blue ball. Sorry. Here's another image of LeBron James. They drew some of the Looney Tune characters in it with the Toon Squad jersey. So we got Bugs, we got Porky, we got Daffy, we got Lola, we got Tweety. Again, this is looking more 2D animated style. I'm digging those jerseys though. I have to say they look good on the Looney Tunes. It's a different color. It's a different style for a different movie. So I think it works. They're definitely doing a whole bunch of color scheme with the blues and the purples and the oranges and everything. Paying homage to the Toon Squad of the past while doing a new thing. Really cool. I love Porky being all b-boy stance there. It's interesting because the article says after initially passing 15 years ago, LeBron James is finally ready to take the Space Jam mantle from Michael Jordan in Space Jam a New Legacy. Did they really pitch this that long ago? But if you go back through even my old videos, there's like 2 or 3 times that we talked about how Space Jam 2 is totally happening and never happened. So I guess now it's officially happening. And now we get to watch it at home on HBO Max. This is all from Entertainment Weekly. Like I said before, we got a shot here of LeBron James holding the ball with electrifying powers. It kind of reminds me of, you remember that video game, Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City on Super Nintendo? That's for some reason what I was thinking of when I saw this picture. It looks like you got the Eiffel Tower back there. So I don't know if that's supposed to be Paris or Vegas, but either way, it looks like we got some interesting backdrops there. Another shot of LeBron James here with Tweety Bird. Now, if you look at Tweety, you see what I'm talking about? If you look at Tweety there, he looks a little fluffier. This is what I'm talking about right here. Now, if you look at Bugs Bunny right here, now that is a lot of fur on that rabbit. Or that wabbit. Looks like we're getting CG, full on 3D CG Looney Tunes in this. I don't know how some people are going to feel about that because obviously with the original Space Jam, it was hand-drawn 2D Roger Rabbit style type of animation. Even Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is a really good movie. You need to watch that movie if you haven't seen it. Underrated. But anyway, that movie also went the traditional route. So I'm wondering how people are going to vibe if this ends up being a little bit more 3D CG than 2D drawy. Look in the background. It's a little faded out here, but if you look really closely, there's a lot of characters going on here. Like look right here. That looks like Jabberjaw. I think that's Jabberjaw right there. That looks like the dude from the Herculoids. I can't remember his name. At first I thought it might have been King Kong, and it might be, but this dude right here from the Herculoids with Gleep and Gloop and all them, I think that's him right there. This dude right over here, that's Penguin. That's totally Penguin. That looks like one of the Amazons from Wonder Woman. There's something here. I can't make it out. There's some kind of cartoon character thing going over there. Maybe that's Gleep and Gloop. That looks like the Flintstones right there. The top of the Flintstones car. Hanna-Barbera characters, Warner Brothers characters, Looney Tunes characters. Anything that Warner owns could possibly pop up in this movie, which becomes very clear when you hear about the plot of this film. James and son Dom are pulled into the Warner 3000 entertainment serververse by John Cheadle's rogue AI Algae Rhythm. The MCU veteran doesn't consider Algae a bad guy, what bad guy does, but rather an AI with a chip on his shoulder. Chip, computers, got it. So this is apparently where all the Warner library titles are held. So that means that pretty much anything that Warner Brothers has licensed to could possibly pop up in this movie, whether it's a scene, a reference, characters in the background. So I think that this is going to be a movie littered with Warner Brothers cameos, and that is going to be a lot of fun to just look at the background of the movie and go, what did they put in there? How deep will they go with their library of titles and their library of characters? I would be very intrigued to see, because I thought it was just gonna be Looney Tunes. The first Space Jam, of course, was just Looney Tunes, but now it looks like we're going full on in. They tell a little bit more of the plot here. Playing a heightened version of himself, James struggles to relate to Dom, his son, who's more interested in creating games than playing them. When Dom's tech skills draw the attention of a CGI humanoid named Algae Rhythm, played by Don Cheadle, the father-son duo gets sucked into the Warner 3000 Entertainment serververse, with the AI kidnapping Dom in the hopes of stealing some of the king's followers. In real life, he has about 80 million on Instagram. Oh, so this is an attempt to steal followers. Social media in our movies, yay! This being a Space Jam movie, a basketball game settles things once and for all. To save his son and escape this virtual reality, James must round out the tunes, including a banished Bugs, to defeat the formidable Goon Squad. Obviously, LeBron's family is not played by his real family, the same way they did with the first Space Jam and Michael Jordan. His family obviously not played by his real family, played by actors. I'm wondering how much the family dynamic is going to play a part in this, especially since the son is supposed to have a big part in the movie, since he's going inside the Warner serververse. And that's why LeBron is going in there and getting the Looney Tunes together to play the big basketball game to save themselves. Maybe all of Warner reality, I don't know. but something's going on where they have to obviously play a basketball game to figure things out, because that's what you do, because it's Space Jam. We get a picture of Lola Bunny. So Lola is back. Lola, of course, was introduced in Space Jam. Definitely probably made some people love bunny ladies. I don't want to start no trouble. But they talk about Lola in this article, and they said, upon watching Space Jam for the first time in 2019, Lee was caught off guard by the original's quote-unquote very sexualized depiction of Lola Bunny. This is 2021. It's important to reflect the authenticity of strong, capable female characters. The Girls Trip filmmaker says why they reworked Lola, aka the team's best non-LeBron player. Now, I don't know what that means yet, because we haven't seen anything yet. Maybe they made her a little bit loonier. Obviously, they did some changes to Lola Bunny when they made the Looney Tunes show. So they might be doing something new here. Maybe she's a little bit more wackier. Maybe she's a little bit more funnier. Maybe she's a little bit more serious. I don't know. I just hope that they're not all like, well, we made her the best basketball player on the team and therefore, haha, strong woman. Because if you watch the original Space Jam, she was the best basketball player on the team outside of Michael Jordan. That was the whole reason why they brought her on. Think about Lola. If you called her doll, when Bugs called her doll, she freaking went on the attack, ran all across his face and slam dunk when the Monstars called her doll.
Don't ever call me doll.
I get that they maybe want to tone down the whole, oh, she's hot. Obviously, she looks like she's going to still be a great basketball player. As long as that's still there, that's fine. But let's move on, because, you know, internet. Ryan Coogler, who worked on Black Panther, is the producer of this movie. Malcolm D. Lee is the director. I wonder what the music's going to be like in this one. Like, Tim Story brought all that hip-hop to Tom and Jerry. And the original Space Jam already had hip-hop and R&B. So I'm looking forward to the soundtrack to Space Jam. Just as much as I am the movie. So Entertainment Weekly wrote a couple of articles about Space Jam: A New Legacy as well as part of this whole coverage. Mad Max meets Casablanca. Space Jam: A New Legacy will dive into the WB film vault. So Ryan Coogler, who talks about this, says, obviously the Looney Tunes come with the Space Jam property, but the idea of playing in the entire Warner Brothers sandbox was an idea that came from co-writer Terrence Nance. And that was a really unique quality about some of the things that he wanted to explore in the script. And that made a lot of sense in terms of how entertainment conglomerates are operating right now. So it's almost like a meta commentary on, you know, one company owning so many properties and trying to make it all work together. Disney Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, which just launched, you know, so on and so forth. A lot of times you're going to have these companies trying to figure out how they combine different properties and bringing them into one thing to up the ante for the audience. Our script takes a very macro look at that, but from a meta story perspective, LeBron kind of becomes a very meta cog in that machine. It says, as for how the historic WB film vault is utilized in New Legacy to put together his team to go against Algae's Goon Squad, James drifts through some of the studio's most famous properties to track down the Looney Tunes, including a banished Bugs. So LeBron James says, you can look at the WB catalog and just see how many things they have in the archives. And for me to be able to travel through and be part of Wonder Woman, Casablanca, The Matrix, it was incredible. We were able to dive into some of those worlds along with some other ones that I gave you a couple, but I want to save some for the film. Ooh. So that means that they're definitely doing those three, but that's not all. We're going to get some other ones that they're going to jump through. And I'm guessing this is maybe where all the Looney Tunes are hanging out or hiding. It's going to make for some cool Looney Tunes versions of some of these properties. I couldn't believe it to see some of the live footage that we were able to shoot, along with some of the digital and animation stuff to just bring it all together. This movie is gonna be insane. This is like Roger Rabbit Ready Player One level of stuff that's going on here. And I know that's gonna probably maybe have some people concerned because like it's supposed to be about the Looney Tunes playing basketball. What's all this other stuff? But I don't know. If you're gonna up the ante from the last Space Jam movie, this seems to be the way to do it. Ralph Breaks the Internet had that whole scene where they were in the Oh My Disney website and they had all those properties together. If they can do that for a scene, Space Jam can do that for a movie. Malcolm D. Lee, the director, says it was a tricky thing just in terms of what you may want. Like, oh my God, look, there's Mad Max and there's Casablanca. Lee explains, although no films or properties have yet to be confirmed, but in picking the titles, it is going to be funny. That's always the balance. You want a title and they say, well, the people who own that title, we at the studio do own it, but we may not be able to use it. There's a lot of trial and error. So what they're basically probably saying is that there's probably some properties that they were totally allowed to go crazy with because they obviously want to put the Looney Tunes in this. You're going to make it comedic. Some properties are like, yeah, go for it. Other properties are like, nah, you can't do it. Let's see if Joker makes it. I want to know if you're going to make a Looney Tunes version of Joker. In addition to entering these beloved worlds, Lee teases we have a lot of WB characters at the game watching like they do at Rucker Park. That's what I was talking about earlier with that picture with Bugs Bunny. One hint of a possible fan, spoiler, ain't got shit on Denzel. Now, if you remember the phrase from Training Day, King Kong ain't got shit on me. So I'm guessing what they're telling us here is maybe Kong gonna be in 2 movies on HBO Max this year. He's gonna show up in Godzilla versus Kong, and then he's probably gonna be like, look, I'm done fighting Godzilla. We done. Hey Godzilla, let's go to this basketball game real quick with the Looney Tunes. I got front row seats. It's gonna be hard for the people who sit behind me. Hollywood royalty like Batman and King Kong courtside. Not to mention the Goon Squad's powered up roster of pros. LeBron James also talks about the actual basketball game against the Goon Squad. It's one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game I've ever played in, he says. The Goon Squad is probably the best team ever assembled in basketball history. I'm assuming with all this coming out and with the movie coming out July 16th, that somehow in the next month or two, we might see a teaser trailer. I actually would be fine with just one trailer of this. I don't want to see too much of it because I don't want too much of the movie hopping or the cameos or references to be spoiled. I want to have fun looking in the background and seeing what characters they put back there. So I'm hoping that some of that stuff gets saved and we actually see it in the movie, not in all the trailers. I'm excited for this movie. I'm still pumped to see Space Jam: A New Legacy. I'm sorry, that's how I live. I live in a world where I'm ready to see a new Space Jam movie. I've been waiting for it. I'm not expecting Oscar caliber content here. I just want a fun Space Jam movie. If it's fun, I'm good. If the Looney Tunes are front and center, then I'm good. What are your feelings on Space Jam: A New Legacy? Are you excited for it? Thank you so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up because liking my videos is always very helpful. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoyed yourself enough to subscribe. I love you like a play cousin. I'm Audi 5000. Welcome to the Space Jam. It's your chance. Do your dance at the Space Jam.